Hi, I'm Jackie Zins, lead school psychologist for the Alamance Burlington School System.
I'm Mike Thomas. I'm the co-lead school psychologist and the MTSS implementation specialist.
And I'm Emily Myers. I'm the MTSS coordinator and PBIS coordinator for Alamance Burlington Schools. Have fun.
So in ABSS, we work pretty hard to ensure that there's open communication between the school psychologist and the MTSS group. And we work to ensure that there is open communication between our school psychologists and multiple departments. So we try to make sure that we have up-to-date information related to MTSS implementation available to the school psychologists on a regular basis. And we work to provide opportunities for the psychologists to actually participate in the work of MTSS implementation by participating in work groups where they may have opportunities to develop new guidance documents or policies, to review and revise existing guidance documents and policies, and really just to support various aspects of MTS implementation across the county.
So in ABSS, we have about 4 main methods of communication to make sure school psychologists are up to date with what's happening with the district MTSS team. So one of the first big pieces is the fact that on our MTSS district implementation team, 2 school psychologists are part of that team. Mike and I both sit on that team. One of the second ways that we communicate with school psychologists and make sure that we're all up to date is Mike and Emily have weekly meetings where they discuss upcoming meetings with directors that they have. They discuss any district-wide questions that have come up about MTSS implementation. And so they are in close and constant communication regarding our policies and practices. The third way is that we do have monthly MTSS support staff meeting for our coaches and our interventionists. And school psychologists are able to attend those meetings and often do. So for instance, in January, we introduced the new paperwork that we had created in our data warehouse system. And so there were several school psychologists who attended that meeting because they help specifically their Tier 3 intervention teams complete that paperwork and go through the problem-solving process. The fourth and probably most important piece of communication, I think, for Mike and me with the school psychologist is having monthly PSM, MTSS meetings for our school psychologists. We do have a school psychologist Google site, which Mike will go over in a second, but we have a consultation where we often discuss updates from the district and updates from the state level. We'll talk about upcoming trainings that are being done throughout the district. We'll review practices and procedures that are relevant to school psychologists. For instance, we just went over our baselining, goal setting, and progress monitoring procedures. And then we'll also discuss cases that people have in regard to MTSS, specifically Tier 3 cases or students who might be being referred for EC eligibility.
So in order to build and maintain readiness in terms of our psychologists' ability to function in schools where we're using progress monitoring data to solve problems and to determine who may or may not have a learning disability, and just working in an MTSS system in general, we try to do several things on an ongoing basis. So we do have a guidance document that outlines implementation roles, responsibilities for the school psychologists. So when they're out in the schools, they know what's expected of them. They have a document that they can share with administration and other school staff that explains what their roles are. It also goes over the decision-making guidelines that we will reference when we're helping the team make decisions about student response. We try to maintain a decent online library of resources for research, technical manuals, DIBELS, AIMSweb, things like that. Various things that document our decision points and how we've come to those decisions, so that when psychs are out in schools and they come to a question, they have resources available to them that remind them what was said in the professional development, what research says about that, why the district has decided to make one decision versus another regarding problem solving and analyzing data. That tool can help with that. So the other thing that we do is we try to provide ongoing professional development within our various teams. So, earlier we talked about having a monthly meeting for the school psychologists who are implementing in an RTI school or in a problem-solving school. And one of the things that we do sometimes is we assign professional development, where folks will have to present on something, or I will present, and we maintain a record of all of those. We try to share specific information with the new school psychologists and school psychologist interns each month. So we have a separate sort of mentoring meeting, and as part of that meeting for new hires and for interns, we have a section of that we dedicate specifically to MTSS implementation, to again, how do you work within a school that uses RTI to determine SLD eligibility, or to determine the effectiveness of interventions for kids in general. So we try to protect some time for that. We're always trying to engage in some type of ongoing literature review, where we might pool the group and figure out what type of questions we have collectively, and then either myself or someone else will pull research on that, and then we will assign readings and then have ongoing discussions about it. Let's see. And we also invite our school psychologists to attend professional development that the district puts on, so that they can be a part of their team, to be an active member of the team, come to the district professional development and help explain maybe some of the things that the team's struggling with that a school psychologist might, be deeply trained on and be able to help them understand better, so that they're building that relationship and they're not seen as somebody who comes in, tests, and moves on. They're seen as part of the team, and they bring what they know to the table, and they support and complement other team members. So we really try to find a lot of different ways to plug them in. It isn't perfect. We're always revising it, and as we get new folks, we're always asking for their input and seeing, how do they feel that it works? What's this like compared to other districts? How can we make it better? Is it meeting our needs? And so really, we're always in a constant state of evaluating ourselves and making adjustments as we go. So I hope that was helpful for you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi.